Firstly, tell us a little bit about the Kings of Summer.
Yeah, Kings of Summer is a comedic coming-of-age story about three boys who run away into the woods and build a house, and it's just about what being 14 is. You know, it's about hating your parents and thinking you have the world figured out and not at all. And just it's a comedy, but it gets real, and it's just I feel very fortunate that people are sort of comparing it to Stand By Me and Goonies and sort of the movies that it was inspired by, but that's very high praise that I don't take lightly. But yeah.
So were you able to join your own kind of childhood and your own experiences of being 14 and 15 and that kind of need to go out and explore the world a bit?
Yeah, absolutely. It is very much based in my youth and what I perceived my youth to be, and I think the loss of youth is an inevitable thing, but also a very sad thing. And I think that it's so ripe for absurdity. The parents in this movie are ridiculous, almost over the top, but except for the fact that I know so many people with parents that are weirder than the characters in the movie, because everyone has crazy parents and everyone has, when you're 15, you don't know the world, you think you do, and that just leads to the most ridiculous situations. So, I don't know, it's very much based on my youth and my experiences, but, it was written by this amazing writer, Chris Coletta, and, him and I have very weird, similar sensibilities.
You hope to collaborate with him again in the future?
I would love to, yeah.
And one of the things I really took away from the film was the brilliant soundtrack, and it really adds a kind of fantasy almost element to the film. I was wondering how important you think the music is to this particular film.
I think music's incredibly important to this. Not only with the soundtrack is very eclectic. There's some indie stuff in it, but there's also hip hop and there's also Thin Lizzy and great old rock. And I love soundtracks that the whole movie to me is a mashup. It's a lot of different influences all put together, and so I wanted the music to feel the same way, like different genres, different decades, and just really feeling like this cohesive thing. But with the score itself, Ryan Miller, our composer, and we talked a really long time. I initially sent him the Zelda soundtrack, and I wanted to find something that was sort of video game based, but also being organic, because in my mind, these are kids who go out into the woods who play video games, and so they're gonna put things in that context. If they're going on an adventure, the closest thing they have to an adventure in their lives is a video game. So I wanted the score to sort of reflect that. I think Ryan just did a phenomenal job with it.
Just finally, because we're here from a website called The Fan Club, we're wondering, what are you a fan of?
What am I a fan of? I mean, that's such a huge question. I'm such a nerd. Look, it blows my mind that we live in a time where the things that are the highest grossing movies right now are comic book movies, and that's the shit that I got picked on for liking as a kid. You know what I mean? And that's crazy to me. I'm a fan of good stuff. Or different or interesting. The last thing I want is just the same thing. I don't care how well made it is. If you've seen it before, it's got to bring something new.